Honestly, I'm just glad that it's over. I hope I never have to see him again.
Unfortunately, my best was never good enough for her.
He's got issues.
She gave me the greatest year of my life, and I've never been loved more by anybody so genuinely. And I'm going to miss that, and it haunts me every day.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Collins versus Batting. Step forward, please.
Nurse Tammy Collins is suing fellow motorist, 25-year-old technician Chris Batting, for throwing a bottle at her car. Tammy says Chris was annoyed at the rate of speed she was driving.
Miss Collins, on what date did this incident happen with your car?
This incident happened on May 15th of 2004.
And on what road were you traveling?
I was traveling northbound on Highway 67 on my way to work.
Highway 67 is in what state?
It's in the state of Missouri.
According to what I read in your complaint, you got into some sort of a situation with a truck.
Yes, ma'am.
And you weren't moving fast enough. You were in the left lane. Try to get over to the right lane. You couldn't. Anyway, this truck became exasperated with the way you were driving, culminating in the fact that the person who was driving in that truck threw a bottle, a beer bottle,
yes,
or some sort of bottle, out the window of the truck. It hit your car, causing damage.
Yes, ma'am.
And it is your claim that Mr. Batting was the person who tossed the bottle out of the car, causing the damage to your car. Mr. Batting was stopped some distance away from where this incident happened as a result of you placing a call to the police.
Yes, ma'am.
What did the truck look like?
It was a white and gray Ford F-150.
White and gray?
Yes, ma'am.
Was it new or old?
It was in a 90s model. The distinguishing factor of that truck was that there was a large dog in the back end of it.
Do you remember what the dog looked like?
It was a Rottweiler.
Now, it is your position, Mr. Batting, that you had nothing to do with this incident?
Absolutely not.
Judge Judy continues in a moment and says fellow motorist Chris Batting threw a bottle at her car while they were driving on the freeway. Chris says she's got the wrong guy.
How long, Mr. Batting, have you lived in the state of Missouri?
All my life.
Now, what county do you live in?
St. Louis County.
What county do you live in?
St. Francis County.
Where were you, in St. Louis or St. Francis County when this incident happened?
We were actually in Jefferson County, which is the county in between the two.
And where was your truck pulled over, sir? Jefferson's?
Jefferson County on Highway 55.
Okay. Let's say that between those three counties, there are, say, 1 million people. Mm-hmm. That be a fair statement?
That's fair.
We're going to, Mr. Batting, play with the statistics and the law of averages a little bit. Of those 1 million people, how many would you say, Mr. Batting, and you could give me an educated guess, sir, and if you get my drift of where I'm going, just smile along any time, sir. How many people do you think who live, 1 million people, have white and gray Ford trucks?
A few hundred, maybe. I don't know.
A few hundred. Let's say 300.
300.
And how many people do you think, of those 300, Mr. Batting, in addition to having a Ford truck, have a Rottweiler?
Maybe half.
That's generous, Mr.
Okay.
Batting. That's
it could be
generous.
all of them. I haven't checked.
That's generous. But let me take your figure.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say of the 300 people that have a Ford F-150 truck, 150 of them also have a Rottweiler. Now, of the 150 who also have a Rottweiler, how many of them do you think at about 3:15 in the afternoon were riding in their Ford F-150 trucks with their Rottweilers?
How many?
Give me a number.
I didn't see any.
5 people.
5, yeah.
Five, maybe 5 people. Now, of those 5 people riding in their Ford F-150 trucks somewhere in the state of Missouri, in those 3 counties, how many of them do you think were around the area where this bottle got thrown at the plaintiff? Would you say maybe 2?
Maybe 2.
So that what you're saying to me is since you were driving in a white and gray Ford truck, right?
Yes.
With your Rottweiler in the back of the truck,
Yes.
when you were stopped by the
Police.
that there was a 50-50 chance, given your best scenario, that it was somebody else who threw the bottle at her car. That's what you're saying to me?
I don't believe there was a bottle thrown at her car, so I don't know.
Well, just a minute. Mr. Batting, your answer doesn't question that there wasn't a bottle thrown in her car. You say, I never saw this lady. I wasn't there. I don't know what she's talking about. You don't say we got into a thing with our cars, but I never threw a bottle. You're saying it wasn't me.
Right.
Wrong. Can I see the estimate of the damage to your car?
Yes, ma'am. There's photo.
What are you doing driving around in your truck with a dog in the back bed of the car? Oh, it's not an answer.
She likes to ride in the back of the truck.
When did she tell you that?
Very often.
I want to know when she told you that. She tells you that often.
Not with words, no.
All right, Miss Collins. I see where there were little chips on the car. I see your estimate. I think you can get the car painted for $1,000, and that's what I'm awarding you, not $3,500. Mr. Batting, got to hold your temper, sir. Got to hold your temper. Somebody isn't driving fast enough for you. Take a deep breath. Life is short. Do you understand? That's
Yes.
all. Goodbye.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I'm pleased with it. It wasn't really about the money. It was about the safety of other people on the road.
This incident never happened. I don't have any idea what she's talking about. Nothing ever hit her vehicle.
It was rather scary. It could have been bad. I could have rolled the car over.
I guess be careful, you know, watch out who you drive by. Wouldn't drive by her.
I certainly hope people think twice before they react to stressful situations like that.
Customer service rep Dolores Harris is suing her son's fiancée, 22-year-old retail manager Stacy Showers, for falsely accusing her of violating a no-contact order. Stacy is countersuing for harassment.
All rise. Quiet in the courtroom, please. Your Honor, this is case number 284 on the calendar in the matter of Harris versus Showers. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated, sir. Have a seat, please.
Miss Harris, Miss Showers is your son's fiancée.
Yes.
I assume this is your son.
Yes, it is.
I gather that you and your future daughter-in-law do not get along.
Yes,
But
ma'am.
that's not what this case is about. You claim that your future daughter-in-law had you falsely arrested,
Yes, ma'am.
as a result of which you spent a night in jail, and you want to be compensated for that.
Yes, ma'am.
And the defendant says that you violated a protective order and that you've made her life miserable over the past 6 months, harassed her. She is counterclaiming. I gather that in May of this year, you, according to you, were fed up with the way Miss Showers was treating your son, and you decided to confront her.
Yes, ma'am.
So you went to her place of business,
Yes, ma'am.
correct? And where did she work?
She works for Martin's grocery store.
How long had she worked there?
I believe she's been there about a year now.
How large is the town where you live?
It's a very small town.
How many grocery stores are there in town?
2.
Which is the bigger one?
Martin's.
And what's the other one?
It's Food Lion.
So you went to her place of business in May, and according to you, you had words with her, and when she was attempting to walk away, you grabbed her by the arm because you weren't finished talking to her.
I didn't grab her. I touched her arm.
As a result of her going into the store in May, you filed a complaint with the police, and they issued a no-contact order. So far, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you went to court on that no-contact order in June.
Yes, ma'am.
June 29th, according to your complaint. And so you had been served with the no-contact order, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And then you decided on June 29th that you wanted to buy some flowers for a friend. Why? She's sick,
She just had surgery.
and you decided to go to the store where Miss Showers works to get the flowers. And according to your statement, you called first to see if she was there. She wasn't there, so you went there. Rather than going to the Food Lion to get your flowers, you went to her store to get your flowers. And while you were there, she came in.
Yes, ma'am.
Subsequently, she filed a violation of the protective order, or the no contact order, saying you had no right to be in her place of business, causing a scene, calling her a name, doing whatever. You had no right to even be there. Based upon that violation of going to her store, you were arrested.
Yes, ma'am.
And that's what you're complaining about, because you say that subsequently you pled guilty to an assault that happened in May, and she was given a permanent no-contact order?
12 months.
12 months. That you agree that she was entitled to, and you agreed to stay away from her and behave yourself for 12 months, and if after that 12-month period there is no contact, the case will be dismissed against you.
Yes, ma'am, that is correct.
And what you're complaining about is that you say she should not have had you arrested for going into the store after court on June 29th, right?
Yes, ma'am.
You have 1 minute to explain to me why it was necessary, right after you went to court on a charge of assault, which you subsequently pled guilty to, that you found it necessary to go to her place of business, a place of business where she was employed for a year. Explain it to me, Ms. Harris.
When the warrant was issued, I was never
Don't tell me
instructed-
warrant.
Okay.
Just tell me why the day that you went to court on a charge of assault, an assault that you pled guilty to, you found it necessary to go to the store where she worked for anything.
Well, Your Honor, I have here where I had been in that store several times previous, and there was no problems.
I'm not talking about previous. I'm talking about the day you went to court for assaulting her. I mean, you weren't going there to get penicillin. You explained to me why you found it imperative to go to that store on that day.
Because, Your Honor, we live in a small town. The store where Stacy works is the only store that is open that time of morning. I called, as I did on these other occasions.
Just a second. Let me stop you right there. What time in the morning did you go over?
It was about 10 o'clock, 10:15.
Really? What time had you gone to court that day?
It was 10.
So you're telling me 15 minutes after you left court, you went to the store?
I went directly after.
Immediately after?
Yes, ma'am.
You left court?
Yes, ma'am.
You decided to go to the store where she works?
No, actually, I had...
That's what you just told me. You told me you went to court at 10, and at that time in the morning...
Yes, ma'am.
At that time in the morning, there's no other store open, and you needed flowers, so immediately from the courthouse, you went to the store where she worked?
Yes, ma'am, that is correct.
You got a problem, Miss Harris. You got a problem with me. There are other places you could have gone to get something for your sick friend, and if you couldn't get flowers anywhere else, and if you didn't want to go pick them yourself, buy her a box of candy. But you don't go to the same venue where you had previously assaulted the defendant, because you pled guilty to that assault, to buy your sick friend flowers. That's outrageous. And then suing her for having you falsely arrested? She had every right to have you arrested. And she didn't even have you arrested on that day. She waited, but evidently other things happened between that date in June and the date she ultimately complained about the conduct, because you clearly are not satisfied and not happy with your son's choice of mates. And finally she said, I've had enough. I'm going to complain about it. You have no case, and I suggest you start behaving yourself. Now, let me get to your counterclaim. Let me hear it.
Mrs. Harris over here, she's ever since the incident in May, she's done nothing but try to torment me, try to get us kicked out.
Get the specifics.
Okay, I have here where she sent Mr. Jeffries here at voicemail saying that if I came to my apartment, that she would make our life hell, and Steve can
Was it your voicemail?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, ma'am.
Step up. What did your mother say on the voicemail?
Basically, if she came back to the apartment where she was staying.
She was staying with you?
Yes, she was at the time.
No,
of the
she was
incident.
not.
Shh.
That she would, quote, stomp her and watch my mom go to jail.
Well, whose apartment was it?
It's my apartment. She lives upstairs.
Okay, and you don't live together now?
Not now, no.
Did you then?
Yes, we did.
How come
No,
you don't
you did
anymore?
not.
Excuse me?
How come you don't anymore?
Because she called the landlord and explained everything that was going on. The landlord told me if Miss Showers didn't drop the warrant, that we both had to leave.
Didn't drop what warrant? The no contact
Well, yes,
warrant
I'm
on
sorry.
your mother?
No contact, yes.
How long has it been since you haven't gotten along with your mother?
Probably May.
What happened in May?
I backed into Miss Showers' car. She took my truck to work.
Yes?
And that started the May incident of her coming into her place of work.
Why? What is your mother's business that she took your truck?
It's not, Your Honor.
Is that what happened?
Well, Your Honor, there's been a history of 2 years of problems between Stacy and my son, where Stephen has come and talked to me about Stacy running around on him, leaving the apartment for 2 days and disappearing. I was brought into their business.
By your son? No, your son was
by my
confiding.
son, yes.
Your son was confiding in you.
Right, yes.
That he was troubled.
Yes, yes.
And?
Stephen at one point expressed to me that they were in an apartment together. He was wanting to put Stacy out but couldn't afford the apartment on his own. I live in a very inexpensive place to live, asked me to try to get him a place in my building. Apartment came available. I went to Stephen and asked if he wanted that apartment because he knew the relationship was shaky.
Fine. You asked him if he wanted the apartment, and he was living with her at the time.
Right.
Go ahead.
After they moved in,
the two of them moved. Just a second.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
the two of them moved in together.
Yes, ma'am. In October, where it brought to where I was seeing with my own 2 eyes of Stacy's actions. The truck incident was basically the icing on the cake. Stephen did put Stacy out right after Christmas of last year.
Talk to me about the truck incident. He says that she had permission to take his truck. He didn't care that she took the truck.
That is correct.
So what was it your business?
Well, because Stephen was having to take off time from work for her to go, and Stephen had owed me money. She works a mile from where they were staying. My viewpoint was, you can't afford to be taking off time from work. You owe me this money.
So why didn't you have a discussion with him instead of her?
I did.
And you got no satisfaction?
He said that he was going to take care of it. Stephen has
So then what prompted you to go to her place of business?
To basically let her know that she might be fooling him, but she wasn't fooling me.
Miss Harris, you better get your priorities in order, and you better get your position and your son's life straight. What he does with his fiancée is none of your business. And if he chooses to confide in you as a parent, he's not asking you to do anything. He's just asking you to be a sounding board and to give him advice. He's not asking you to be a mediator. He's not asking you to get in between he and his fiancée. It's a very bad place to be, Miss Harris. Listen, she's bothering you. She's annoying you. That's not something that you come to court and you're compensated for. Do you understand?
Right.
But you have absolutely no case against her. None. Your case is dismissed.
Why does I excuse you? May step out.
She has a very bad reputation in town.
She's just so hateful. She'll say anything.
I've seen her with other men. She's had men down in my son's apartment.
I mean, as far as being with anybody, I can count the people I've been with on one hand more than probably, I can say for her.
I guess nobody's ever going to be good enough.
Not to be blunt, but everybody in town has had her, so no, I don't think she is.
Actually, she's told Steve that if we ever got married, she wouldn't be there, and then if we ever had kids, she wouldn't have nothing to do with them.
His relationship with her will be his. If he wants a relationship with me, then we'll have to have a separate relationship.
I guess she's upset that she lost her case. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's anger talking. I'm not sure.
Student Barbara Evans Cunningham is suing her ex-husband, store manager Bruce Evans, for his share of a Honda Accord purchased for their son. Bruce claims he never promised to pay for the vehicle.
All rise. Yeah, this is case number 292 on the calendar, the matter of Evans Cunningham versus Evans. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated.
Miss Cunningham, Mr. Evans was your husband.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
you have one child?
Yes, ma'am.
A boy who is in high school now.
Yes, ma'am.
It is your claim that a couple of years ago, the two of you agreed that if your son got straight A's or good grades, that when he was a senior in high school, the two of you would chip in to buy a car.
Yes, ma'am.
You purchased a car for your son, and the defendant did not contribute half the money for the car.
That is correct, ma'am.
Unfortunately, the car that you purchased for your son blew an engine within a relatively short period of time, and you were forced to go out and buy another car for him.
Yes, ma'am.
You're not asking Mr. Evans to pay for that second car, but you want him to pay his half of the first car, which no longer exists. Is that right? That's what you're suing for?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Mr. Evans says that you didn't consult him about the car, and he's not paying.
That's correct.
Okay. So, how long have you been divorced?
We've been divorced, ma'am, almost 10 to 11 years. I've known Mr. Evans since I was 16 years old.
Okay. Now, when did you purchase this car for your son? The first one?
The first car, ma'am, was 19 July of this year for my neighbor.
What kind of car was it?
It was a 1990 Honda Accord, ma'am, 4-door sedan.
And how much did you pay for the car?
The car costed $1,770.
When did you discuss this purchase with your husband?
Beginning the month of May 2004.
What did you say to him, and what did he say to you?
He stated, that's good, does the body look good on the car, does the car run well? And I stated yes, that my neighbor showed me where he maintained the maintenance on the car periodically. He stated that that's fine, go ahead with the purchase.
Is that right?
No.
Well, tell me what happened when she called you.
She called me and told me that her neighbor was selling the car for $1,500. She said that he was moving or something and that she could get the car. I told her, well, what kind of car is it? Because I haven't seen the car. Can I come check the car out or look at the car? She said that she know her neighbor pretty well because he lives right next door, and that he takes good care of his cars, and that she figured that it was good because she know him and she didn't think that he would sell her anything that wasn't
in good shape.
Right.
And what did you say to her?
I told her that, okay, then let me look at the car. You know,
well,
so,
you should listen to me, Mr. Evans. Let's not dance around with each other, sir.
Okay.
If things make sense, they make sense. It makes sense that she told you about this car and you said, well, I'd like to take a look at it.
Correct.
That makes sense. And she said, well, I don't think, according to you, I don't think I have to take a look at it. This is my neighbor. I know him very well. I know that he's taken good care of the car. I've seen the records on the car. And then you have to say something else. Either you say to her, well, I still want to take a look at it and I'll call and make an appointment, or you say to her, fine. Now, which is it?
I told her I still wanted to look at the car. I told her, I asked her when was the guy moving and when was the last day that she was going to actually get the car. She didn't actually purchase the car from the guy until the day before he left.
So why didn't you go over there and take a look at it?
He did, ma'am.
Shh.
No,
Just a second. He did?
Yes, ma'am.
When did he go over there, Miss Cunningham?
Ma'am, he did a drive-by of the car in June.
When you say a drive-by?
The car is parked in front of the neighbor's yard, and I shared with him, it was on a Sunday evening, he was picking up our son. I stated that the car is parked in the front yard of my neighbor. When you pick Kelvin up, you could pass by and see the car. He acknowledged that the car was showroom clean, based on the outside of the body.
I never met the neighbor, so I don't...
Just a second. You don't have to meet the neighbor, Mr. Evans.
Well, I'm saying as far as going to his yard and stuff.
Mr. Evans,
Yes,
did
ma'am.
you ask for the neighbor's name?
No, because...
Just a second. Is there any reason why you didn't ask for the neighbor's name?
Because I asked her to set it up so we could go by and look at it together.
What's wrong with you? She's already looked at the car. If you want to look at the car, Mr. Evans, you have to be proactive.
Asking her to set it up with a neighbor that she already knows is proactive. I just can't go to this man's house and just
No,
say,
it isn't. Listen to me. Baloney. Listen, Mr. Evans. Baloney. I'm sympathetic with you to this. When I read your answer to this extent, you said, well, she bought this car, she didn't ask for my input, and if she bought the car without asking for my input, I'm not paying for half. That's what you said in your answer, right?
That is correct.
And I'm telling you that I was sympathetic with that answer, because I think that it's wrong for someone, if in fact it's true, to Miss Cunningham to say, listen, we agreed 2 years ago we were going to buy my son a car. I saw my neighbor's car, I liked the car. I went and bought the car, and then I presented my ex-husband with half the bill. And my ex-husband said to me, I'm not paying for half the bill on this car that you picked out yourself because I didn't have any input. That's what you're saying, and I was sympathetic. But that's not what happened, Mr. Evans. No.
Judge, I never saw the car.
That's your fault. That's your fault. You have two eyes, you have a mouth, you have a finger that can do the walking through the yellow pages and the white pages. I am speaking. I am speaking, sir. Now, certain things make sense, and I've been in this business a long time. What kind of work do you do, sir?
Manage a payday loan store.
And if somebody doesn't give you the money, what do you do?
We try calling them and getting them to come in and
Now, when you try calling them, let's say, put your papers down. Let's say you have their address.
Yes, ma'am.
And you don't have a telephone number.
Yes, ma'am.
What do you do?
Mail them a letter.
Did you ever think of calling information to get a telephone number? Have you ever done that, Mr. Evans? You know exactly where I'm going, sir.
Yes,
Get
ma'am.
information, you try to get it from information. You take out a phone book, you turn to the white pages and see in the white pages whether there's an address that corresponds with that. Or you can do both and mail them a letter.
Yes, ma'am.
What I'm saying to you, Mr. Evans, you are a smart man. You're a businessman. If you wanted to take a look at this car, inside and out, all you had to do was be a little proactive.
She never gave me the person's name.
No, she doesn't have to give you. Listen to me. You asked. You did not ask.
Judge, I asked Barbara to let me come by and look at the car.
Had a key.
Shh. Don't ask Barbara. Barbara has taken care of your son for the last 11 years.
Barbara and I have taken care of our son.
No,
for the
listen to
last
me. No.
11 years.
Let's get it straight.
Shh.
Barbara and I have taken care of our son.
1, 2. You know what?
Barbara
you know
has
what that
not
means?
taken care of our son by herself.
Listen
I have
to me.
always been there for my child,
Just
and
a
I
second. With whom?
don't want her being in court saying
I'm
that.
speaking. Don't speak over me.
Yes,
ever.
ma'am.
Who has primary physical custody of your son?
Kelvin is with Barbara because Kelvin...
Don't tell me because. Who has primary?
I do.
You do. Let me see the papers that give you primary physical custody.
I don't have them with me.
Okay.
When
Now,
we got a divorce, Judge...
Barbara, turn around.
When we got a divorce years ago, I had primary custody of our son. I had him for the 9 months he was in school. She had him for the summer months. That's in the divorce decree. Okay, after Kelvin stayed with me for the first 4 years, then with Barbara kept calling and complaining and crying to him, saying how much this and how much that, he asked me and said, Daddy, can I go stay with my mom, son? I said, okay, son, I don't have a problem with that. If that's what you want to do, I'll let you do that. I moved so I can be close to him. Barbara got transferred again to Colorado. I moved out to Colorado so I can still be close to my son. She got transferred to St. Louis. I moved to St. Louis so I can still be close to my one and only son, so I could be there for him to help raise him. So with her coming up in here saying that I have not helped and I have not been there for my son, that is downright ridiculous.
So then I'm asking you, sir, if you did all this moving from one city to another city to another city, with all that entails for moving, so for the last 6 years, he's been living with his mother. You've moved. So for the last 6 years, full-time, she's been the full-time custodial parent, and you've moved so that you could accommodate her work. Whatever that was, you've moved because you thought it was in your child's best interest. You moved, you've changed, you've gotten an apartment, you've got turned on gas, electric, telephone, you've moved, you've transferred registrations on cars, and you're telling me that you couldn't find out the name of the neighbor who lives next door so you could go and look at the car? Mr. Evans, I don't buy it.
Judge,
Now,
if she had allowed me the opportunity to do that before she moved ahead, then that's what would have happened. But she did not allow me the opportunity.
Oh, stop
that's
it.
just like after
Stop
the car.
Stop crying.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today, Barbara Evans Cunningham says ex-husband Bruce Evans owes for his share of a Honda Accord purchased for their son. Bruce says Barbara didn't consult him first.
Now, I find first that you did in fact agree to pay for half the car. That she in good faith called you and said to you before she purchased the car, I have the ability to purchase this car that I think is a good deal. You said to her, is it a good car? I'd like to come and take a look at it. You're leaving it up to her. And she's a working gal too, I gather, because you say that you moved to accommodate her career, which means that she probably earns more than you do. So that she's a busy girl. So instead of you making the appointment with the neighbor, because I'm sure this is a perfectly nice person that she purchased the car from, and you're not a bad man. I mean, you're not an ex-convict, are you?
No.
Good. So the neighbor wouldn't suggest, I don't want him near me or near my house or near my children or near my family. You're just a nice man. You're a nice man who's got a child who needs a car, a teenager. And you say, listen, I want to come and take the car out because I understand that my ex-wife wants to buy it. That's a very simple thing. Very simple. You chose not to do that. You chose to say, you make the arrangements. And when she didn't make the arrangements, she said to you, give me the $850. You said no. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $850. That's it.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Bruce has been very downright evil to me. He has always manipulated the system. He has never held a full-time job in his whole life.
My ex-wife is just disgruntled. That's all it is.
I have no reason to be disgruntled and upset because I have a very wonderful life. and my life got better after I got rid of him.
For her to get in court and say that I'm not there to take care of my son or not help with my son is just downright ridiculous.
I'm going to applaud and scream with hallelujah when you're out of all of your money. You're nothing but a freeloader.
It's about